again, everyone. I am Joel. Welcome back to Shining Empathy, and this is your full moon reading for September 16th. Technically, it does go full tomorrow sometime in the afternoon, here in Toronto anyway, but obviously it'll be tonight when we see it at its fullest, September 15th. So, being in the middle of all this Mercury retrograde nonsense, and I have to say that my technological issues that I mentioned in my weekly reading have only continued and in some cases gotten a little bit worse. But so be it. It's just kind of the way it is, and it makes it... I can remember being younger and having these phases of technological failure, just everything all breaking down all at once, drive issues and internet issues or just computer issues and just technology everywhere just kind of failing me. And obviously not having an explanation for it and just feeling like I was sort of being punished by the universe. And it kind of helps now knowing that we go through these cycles, things like Mercury retrograde, and when you see everything kind of line up in a pattern and it's happening during a time when it can be pretty much predicted, it just kind of takes the edge off of it. I don't sit here kind of like freaking out about it like I used to. It's kind of just like, oh, this really, really sucks. Screw you, Mercury retrograde, but all right, fine, so be it. And you just got to kind of make peace with it. So hopefully, whatever's going on in your lives right now with all this, you guys can kind of find a similar headspace or deal with it in your own kind of way. But I feel like as a result of all this reading is going to be a little bit interesting. I have no idea what's going to come through, but I just have a funny feeling it's going to be a little bit funny. Funny feeling it's going to be funny. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and do the reading for the full moon tonight and see what is ahead for us this cycle between this full moon and the new moon. Alright. For the full moon, whoever is watching. Therapy messages for them. Okay. So, I'm going to turn the camera down here. Okay. So, let's have a peek at the first card. Attachment. Okay. So, I'll show you this card here. So this being the root of our situation and where everything is growing out of. Attachment has to do with kind of the things that we attach ourselves to, the idea of who and what we think we are. As you can see, she's taking off a mask here, and it's the idea that we can be very attached to who we think we are and what we think we are capable of. You can even say something like, if you had a vocation like I am a teacher, and you just all the time said, I am a teacher, I am a teacher. Well, you're a lot more than just a teacher, right? But if you go your entire life saying just, I am a teacher, and believing that that's all you are, you're not being true to yourself. You have a mask on, and even though, yes, you are a teacher, that's not all you are. So if you don't take that mask off to see what else you are, you're not really discovering your true potential or really kind of getting in touch with all that you are. So that's just one example, though. These attachments can go far beyond that, but it does have, whatever attachments that we're talking about here do have to do with who you are, because the mask is very personal. It's very much I'm covering up who and what I truly am, okay? So we'll bear that in mind and keep moving forward. Let's see what we've put into this to cause the situation to come about. Okay. So what is causing this situation to come about, what's causing us to remove that mask of attachment right now of who and what we think we are, is the fact that our heart chakras are being opened right now. Either be it from our own hard work trying to open them up and just trying to like deliberately allow our emotions and our feelings and meet them without resistance. Or if there are situations in our lives, then I'm not surprised, given that Mercury retrograde is happening right now, that's forcing us to really open up our hearts right now. Whatever your situation is, I mean, I never look at even though it can be a painful process, especially if any of us have undealt with grief or anguish of any kind that's kind of stuck in the heart center. It is never a bad thing when the heart is opening. It can only be good things. That goes for any chakra really, but like, when a center opens or closes, it doesn't necessarily mean amazing things are going to happen in our lives. It can be very painful, it can be very amazing. It's just all dependent on who you are and what's going on with you. But it seems for a lot of us, if not all of us right now, we're all experiencing this in some way. So, this is what we put into the situation, our opening hearts, to cause us to take the mask off and see who and what we are. So let's move forward and find out of everything in this situation, what is going to receive the most growth? Ooh, financial constraints. That tells me that we're actually going to be tighter and tighter for money right now, and just resources in general, maybe even our time. So if you are feeling that kind of restrictive sense with your resources right now, money or otherwise, don't be surprised. It doesn't look like that's going to go anywhere for a while either. So budget wisely right now, okay? Don't do any frivolous spending. Just, stick to the basics and stick to what you need, okay? Now, let's find out what our greatest challenge in this cycle will be, all right? Ooh. Romantic relationships is going to be a major challenge apparently here. Here's the thing about Mercury retrograde, and I apologize if I sound like I'm just yammering on about something over and over again. I tend to do that, but it does. The point of the matter here is that during Mercury retrograde, communication does tend to break down, and it can just leave us in a place where we find ourselves not really being able to see another person's side, or feeling like we're not being understood. Or even if it's just simple things like technology failing us during a conversation that ends up leading to miscommunications and misfires. Whatever the case may be, relationships right now are going to be a difficult challenge for everybody. That might even mean that for some of you there are breakups that are going on right now. It might also mean that it's just a lot of quarreling, or you're not seeing eye to eye, or simple miscommunications. Whatever it is, this is our challenge area. Okay. And I'll actually also add that because for any of you out there who are single and obviously are thinking, well, I don't have a relationship to be having any difficulty with, I will remind you that as a single person, your main relationship, especially romantically, and this sounds funny, but it is true, is to yourself. The love and respect and everything that we give ourselves is a relationship that we have with ourselves. And this tells me that if you are single, that relationship that you're going to have a difficult time with is with yourself. So bear that in mind. Now, on to the part of this cycle and this situation that is going to open up the most, that is going to receive, I'm going to say, the most love, the most energy here. We talked about what's going to grow most in this situation, but now let's see what's actually going to open up, either an opportunity. This is kind of like the opening/gateway spot, so let's see what that is. Okay, so even though we're having financial constraints, we are going to be receiving an abundance of other things. So it's sort of like a balance thing happening here. We're not going to have the resources in terms of maybe money, but there will be an abundance of other things coming into our lives right now. Open yourselves up to that idea that even though the money might not be pouring in, that there is abundance in other things. Maybe it's social abundance. Maybe there's a lot of people that just are really trying to spend time with you right now, and maybe you're just like, well, I don't have the money, I can't do anything, and you're just kind of shutting yourself in and kind of caving in. An abundance of friendship and social things right now can be a really great thing, especially when we're tight for cash or any kind of other resources like that normally would allow us to do all those things. When we hang out with our friends, we don't have to be spending tons of money. Like, obviously it would be nice if we could, go out for dinner with our friends, or go out in the patio since it's that last bit of season and have a beer. But like, you know, if that's just not the case, then that's not the case. Just hang inside and keep it quiet, but just don't push away the abundance that's coming in right now in other areas, okay? Because it is coming in. And on to our strength spot. And I've said before that this spot can either be, it's either a strength that will help us during all of this. It can be something that we can rely on to give us strength, or something that will just kind of hold us up during this situation. Or it can be something in terms of whatever card comes up is feeding strength to the card. So let's have a look. Deceit. Okay, so this doesn't really surprise me, given that it's especially right over top of the attachment card, when we're not being true to who and what we are, and when we're not seeing ourselves for what who and what we are. So this is probably in terms of being in the strength spot, even more so. We really aren't seeing who and what we are. We're not being honest with ourselves, maybe about our situation, about what we want to do, about who we are, all these things. We are not being honest with ourselves. It might just be an honest factor in general. This could almost be called the honesty card, or dishonesty card, because this just has to do with, it has less to do with deceit, like someone's actually trying to pull the wool over your eyes and hurt you, and it has just more to do with not being true to the self. Even if that's someone in the situation who's also not being true to themselves and is lying to you about something. Maybe they're not deliberately trying to hurt you, but there is some dishonesty happening there. So, being that it is in the strength spot, we all need to kind of be mindful of our dishonesty with ourselves, and maybe even from other people right now, but just keep that in mind, okay? So this spot is our outcome spot, or kind of what everything is gearing up to, the fruits of our labor. So this cycle we are coming to contract. Contract could also be seen as a very specific opportunity. This card also kind of represents a little bit of judgment. I'm sorry, I apologize for the noise outside there. It sounds like a garbage truck has just kind of pulled up to the building here. So hopefully you're not having to fight for my voice, to hear my voice right now. But this card tends to be about very specific opportunities that come up. Sometimes they're even the opportunities that we create for ourselves. But this isn't about just any old opportunity. This is about a very specific opportunity coming up for us and it very often will have pen to paper kind of attitude to it. Maybe marriages, lease agreements, mortgages, anything at all that requires us to put our name to paper. Maybe we're getting an extended contract with work. Whatever the case may be, those are very, very specific and ideal examples of what this card could mean. But there's something very karmic about this card, especially because she has the kind of the judgment kind of card feel to her. There's something about the card having the blindness to it, where she's blind and she's weighing the scales about everything right now. To me, I see the blindfold as, I'm not going to look at the situation and have any emotional bias to anything here. I am weighing the scales, and things will be done as they should be. So hopefully whatever opportunities that are coming our way will be beneficial. I don't see this necessarily as obligatory. I don't see this as something that we have to kind of like force ourselves to do. I kind of think of it as a great opportunity that's kind of coming our way. Whatever that may be, I've given some examples here that are rather large, but they can be a lot smaller than that. So keep that in mind. I might actually get some more information about that card. What I do want to ask about is the deceit card first. Okay, so Journey came up with it. So this might actually be about kind of deceiving ourselves about where we're going. This card does tend to more often than not mean physical journeys, but I would say that next to the deceit card, it's talking about just where we're headed in our lives. Maybe that is physically where we're going, but we're not being honest about our direction right now, okay? So let's look at the contract. Okay, so whatever the contract is that's coming up is going to require us to take action. It sounds like we've already done all the planning. There's a very yin and yang kind of feel to this card, and there's also a note of support. If an opportunity has come up or there's something you'd like to do but you just don't feel like you know what to do, what the next step is, or maybe you don't feel like you have the resources, whatever it is, or you just need that kind of like emotional / energetic push from a friend or a family member, you are going to have to take action. So if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for it, because this card is supportive of you seeking any kind of help from an individual or people in the situation. Okay, so when this contract comes up, whatever this opportunity is that's coming up for you, if it's something we're creating for ourselves or otherwise, you do have to take action. This isn't something we can just sit around and it's just going to take shape for us, okay? Opportunities have to be seized. So if the opportunity comes up, grab it, take hold of it, and take action, okay? And that is it for this reading. I just want to pull one more card just as the theme card, kind of the overarching, what's taking place, kind of the underlying thing here. And that's caring relationships, caring connections. So the idea here, given that this is the kind of the overall theme of what's happening here, is that we're developing better connections with people. We're developing much more true connections with the people around us. Maybe there are some people in our lives who aren't suitable for us anymore, and they've kind of come and gone now, or their time to leave is now, and they're kind of making their exit. But as a result, we're going to make room for the people who kind of vibe with us much better, right? Kind of sync up with us better, and have a bit more of a soul connection to us, friends, lovers, or otherwise, even family. So underneath all of this, we are making room and developing more of this. And this tends to be a card about much more about relationships. So relationships does seem to be a main factor here, especially with these two cards that have come up. So there are a lot of relationship things happening for a lot of you, don't be surprised. But I'm going to give as a general reading that it's just a lot more development in terms of your really close relationships. Either your intimate relationships, friends, family, whatever, okay? A lot of development happening there. All right. I'll be back up here. So that's your full moon reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and like my video on YouTube, and you can go ahead and subscribe to that as well if you want. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Shining Empathy, so you can find me there as well. I apologize if you've been on my Instagram and I just haven't been doing my daily readings lately. Energy levels had been low for a while, and I was just finding myself kind of forcing myself to do the readings, and I just wasn't feeling like the quality of my readings for the daily reading was coming through as well. It was just kind of like, okay, let's just get it out there. And I don't like putting that kind of energy into my readings, so until the energy levels kind of peak back up, I'm just going to kind of throw a daily reading out there whenever the mood kind of strikes me. So apologies for that if you were really getting into the whole like daily Instagram piece coming out there, but they're still going to come, but it's just not going to be every single day necessarily, okay? All right, so until next week when I do my weekly reading, I will see you guys then, and good luck with your ventures in this full moon cycle, and I'll also see you back at the new moon, okay? Love and light to you all. Bye for now, everybody.